Hello friends and welcome to Raj Malhotra's IS. So this is the new series that we are starting, that is titled Mains Value Addition through Report series. In this series, the first report in this first video that I am going to discuss is the second ARC's fourth report, that is titled Ethics in Governance. So I have divided this report into multiple parts based on some topics so that you can better use or utilize these recommendations topic wise in your answers. So the first topic on which the recommendations of second ARC that we will discuss today is the electoral reforms. So second ARC ने fourth report में जो भी recommendations they have provided on electoral reforms के topic पे, that is what we are going to discuss in this today's video. So let's begin the discussion. So the very first recommendation that ARC makes is with regard to the election funding. So आप देखिए that whenever elections are conducted in our country, so there is lot of finance that is involved in this elections. So देखिए आपकी election rallies होती हैं, campaigns होते हैं, there are manifestos, there are posters that are printed. So to do all these activities, the parties required a lot of funding. So that is what is known as election funding in short. Okay. So now there are several problems at present in this electoral funding scheme. So the first biggest problem is that the entire election fund comes from private sources as of now. Okay, the entire funding comes from private sources. Government doesn't provide any funding for elections in our country as of now. So iska implication, what are the results, what are the problems that this creates is that there is huge private influence on our elections because of private funding of our elections. So private जैसे कि आप, मैं या companies, कुछ भी private जो individuals या companies है, they have a lot of influence on political parties and because they provide funds to them. Okay, so that is what the first problem is. The second issue that this raises is that कि there is a lot of inequalities आपकी फंडिंग में because there are many smaller parties who are not able to access private finance. So they are at an unequal level when compared with the larger or bigger parties like BJP, INC and all such parties. So that is the second issue that election funding in our country faces. Thirdly, we do not even know the sources of these fundings. So there is lot of issue with the transparency of our electoral finance. Okay, so these are the three big issues. To combat these, the second ARC has recommended that we should introduce partial state funding of elections. Okay, so what does this means? Partial means some amount of election funding should be provided by the state, that is the government, from our budget. Okay, so how will this help? This will help us fight all these three problems. Firstly, it will reduce the influence of private money in our election financing, okay, because some of the part will be provided by the government itself. So the political parties won't depend on the private players for their finances. So that is why it will reduce the influence of private sector on election financing. Okay, it will solve the first issue. The second issue of inequalities, that will also be solved by this because the state would be providing equal amount of finances to each of the party that wants to fight the elections. So the smaller parties will also get some finance or some money to fight elections on equal ground, somewhat equal ground with the other bigger parties. Okay, anyone can form a party, small party, and they can fight their elections with the help of finance that they get from the state government or central government. Okay, so that is going to be its second benefit. The third is that it will also increase the transparency of election financing because some of the part we will know that is coming from government sources and not from unknown sources. So in that way, this recommendation will help us achieve these three objectives. So this is a very important topic. Even stand alone on this topic, many questions can be asked. So please make a note of these this recommendation and the three problems that it will solve. It will help you write better answers. You can always mention second ARC and its recommendation while writing your answer on electoral financing. Okay. The next recommendation that the second ARC makes is with regard to heinous offences. So what are heinous offences? Heinous offences means grave offences, जैसे कि आपका terrorism cases, murder, kidnapping, sexual assault or drug related issues. All of these are known as heinous offences. So what the second ARC says is that we should make an amendment to the Representation of Peoples Act Section 8. This is a very important act, again directly mentioned in your syllabus in GS2 part. So इस पे भी standalone questions बन सकते हैं. So please cover this act also very comprehensively. So the second ARC is saying that we should amend this act, okay, to provide for such a provision that we could disqualify all the persons who are facing charges related to grave or heinous offences. So let me explain you with an example this point. So let's just suppose that I am elected as a CM or any minister in your state legislature or the parliament. Okay, then somebody files a case against me on murder charges, let's just suppose, and so this recommendation says that I should be disqualified instantly because murder is a heinous or a grave crime. We can't let such a person who is charged with such heinous crimes be sitting in our legislature or parliament, because that will hurt the sanctity of our lawmaking institution. We will be allowing criminals in our politics. Okay, I am charged with a very serious offence. Then how can a country let a criminal run its parliament or state legislature? That is the main point. That is why this recommendation has been made, that such persons should be instantly disqualified if they are charged with heinous offences. अगर छोटा मोटा offence हो, then we can let it go. चोरी का छोटे मोटे अगर offences है, that we can take time to investigate and then reach to a conclusion. But when there is a heinous offence involved, at that time the second ARC says that we have to take immediate action and disqualify that person to prevent criminalization of politics, to preserve the sanctity of our parliament, and to maintain the trust of people of the country in the elected government or the parliament or the law making institutions. Okay, so that is why this recommendation is very important, but there is a caveat that is involved in that. See, it is very highly a possibility that the opposition parties will try to use this recommendation against the winning candidate or the CM or the elected government. So for example, again let's see that example, that it is possible that opposition party files a false case against me as the CM to destabilize my government or destabilize my party. So what they will do, that they will file a false charge, and if there is a provision to disqualify based on charges itself, on the FIR itself, then I will be disqualified, my government will fall and the opposition will win, but I will be wrongfully convicted because that was a false case. Okay, so the second ARC says that there is high potential that this provision may be misused by the political parties. Okay, so for that the second ARC says that we have to make alternate adequate arrangements to ensure that these provisions are not misused by any parties. So you make the provision to disqualify persons facing heinous offences, but also make adequate arrangements to prevent the misuse of such act. That is what the second ARC says in this recommendation. Okay. The next important recommendation of ARC is with regard to electoral petitions. तो सबसे पहले तो let's see what is actually electoral petition. So whenever the elections are conducted and results are declared, so if any citizen of the country or the candidate fighting the elections, they have any issue or doubt regarding the conduct of elections, जैसे आपको लगे कि fair तरीके से election नहीं हुआ, you have a proof that corrupt practices took place while conducting elections. So what you can do is, you can file an election petition with any court of the country with regard to those results within 45 days of the declaration of the results of those elections. Okay, you can file an election petition within 45 days of the declaration of the results of those elections. ठीक है. नाउ फायदा तब होगा व्हेन द केसेस दैट आर फाइल्ड दे आर डिस्पोज्ड इन अ स्पीडी मैनर. ओके, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि सालों तक केस चल रहा है एंड आफ्टर 5 और 10 ईयर्स यू गेट टू नो दैट ये इलेक्शंस फॉल्स या करप्ट मीन्स से जीता गया था एक इंडिविजुअल के द्वारा. देन व्हाट विल बी द यूज ऑफ फाइलिंग दिस इलेक्शन पिटिशन? सो दैट इज वाई सेकेंड ARC says that to speeden up such election petitions we need to create special election tribunals. Okay, tribunals are special adjudication bodies that we can create under Article 323B. If you have read the Constitution, so we have the provision of Article 323 where we can make tribunals which are adjudication bodies. Okay, so we can make two types of tribunals. Under Article 323A we can make administrative tribunals. So two kinds of administrative tribunals are already set up in the country. One is Central Administrative Tribunal to deal with the officials of central government and their petitions, and then there is State Administrative Tribunals to deal with the petitions of state officials. Okay, then there is Article 323B which calls for setting up tribunals related to all other cases like taxation or like election petitions we are talking about. So कोई भी और इशू जिस पे आप ट्रिब्यूनल बनाना चाहते हैं, एडजुडिकेशन बॉडी बनाना चाहते हैं, उस पे आप बना सकते हैं अंडर आर्टिकल 323B. ओके, दैट इज़ व्हाट द ARC रिकमेंड्स हेयर कि आप अंडर आर्टिकल 323B यू सेट अप स्पेशल इलेक्शन ट्राइब्यूनल्स टू स्पीडीली डिस्पोज इलेक्शन पिटिशंस. So that is what is being recommended here by the ARC, ताकि ये 6 महीने के अंदर अंदर सच इलेक्शन पिटिशंस को रिजॉल्व कर सकें. ओके, ये देखिए आपके वाइस प्रेसिडेंट श्री M. वेंकैया नायडू has also made a similar recommendation. You can also use your vice president's name whenever you have to write about the election petition and the recommendation made by second ARC. You can also mention the name of Mr. Naidu, that our vice president is also recommending that we should make these election petitions to be speedily disposed of. Okay, so you can use this also. The next recommendation, again a very important recommendation, is with regard to the office of Chief Election Commission of India, CEC, Chief Election Commission of India. So currently क्या होता है कि your Chief Election Commissioner is appointed by the President. Okay, so President इनको appoint करता है, but as you know, as per the Article 74 of the Constitution, the President is bound by the aid and advice of your Council of Ministers, or you can say the Prime Minister of our country. So that means the Chief Election Commissioner is in some way being elected by your ruling party. Okay, there is an influence of the ruling party in the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner. So there is high possibility that a biased person is appointed as the Chief Election Commissioner. There is a possibility. So to check this possibility, because elections we need to ensure, देखिए Article 324 of the Constitution says that it is the responsibility of the Election Commission of India to ensure free and fair conduct of elections in the country. तो free and fair अगर CEC ही हमारे Chief Election Commissioner ही biased हैं, तो how will we have free and fair elections? Okay, so to have free and fair elections, that is our constitutional obligation. We need to ensure that our Chief Election Commissioner is elected or appointed in a fair or unbiased manner, for which the ARC recommends that we should have a collegium instead of the President electing the CEC or appointing the CEC. We should have a collegium which should have members of the ruling government as well as the opposition party, to ensure that a fair person or a balanced or unbiased person is appointed as the Chief Election Commissioner of India. Okay, this is a very important topic. आपको सिर्फ question can be asked on the reforms on Election Commission of India. So in that you have to mention this very important point that the appointment process of your Chief Election Commissioner needs to be reformed. This is a very high required recommendations जो हमें implement करनी चाहिए to ensure free and fair elections. So this is a very important one. Please make a note of it and remember it. Okay, the fifth recommendation that the second ARC makes is with regard to coalition politics. So you see, when one single party is not able to form government, so many parties come together to form a coalition. Okay, that is known as the coalition. जैसे आप example लीजिए NDA का, that involves BJP plus your SAD, if you have heard, this is a party from Punjab, Shromani Akali Dal, and plus so on. There are many parties in this alliance or coalition. Okay, so this is known as coalition. So what this recommendation says is that बहुत बार ये होता है कि a candidate is elected on the ticket of one coalition, and after getting elected as the member of the parliament or legislature, that candidate defects or changes party and gets involved with another party, let's just say the Indian National Congress. So this is a wrong thing, because we as the electorate has chosen that person to represent the agenda of NDA or to implement the manifesto of NDA coalition. But now if the person has defected to INC, how will he ensure that the manifesto of NDA is implemented? He would come under the influence of INC. So the mandate that we had appointed him with, that won't be implemented. So that is why, to prevent this trend, the second ARC says that whenever a person is elected on one coalition's ticket and then it changes party midstream, that person should be made to get re-elected on the ticket of the new party to which it has defected or joined. Okay, that is what this recommendation says, that a person belonging to one coalition shifts midstream to another party, then he or she shall have to re-seek fresh mandate from the electorate. ठीक है, कोएलिशन पार्टनर अपनी कोएलिशन को छोड़ के किसी और पार्टी में चला जाता है तो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि उसको री इलेक्ट किया जाए, उसको री इलेक्ट करने के लिए प्रोविज़न बनाई जाए कि ही हैज़ टू गेट री इलेक्टेड ऑन द नेम ऑफ दैट पार्टी, द न्यू पार्टी दैट इट ही हैज़ जॉइंड. Okay, that is what this recommendation says. उसके बाद a very important topic, anti defection law. Again stand alone question, इस पे भी high potential है. Please cover this topic very well. इस पे notes बना के रखिए और ये recommendation भी आपके answers में काम आएगी. So पहले देख लेते हैं defection होता क्या है. So defection is just changing your party. You get elected from on the ticket of party 1 and then you shift to party 2. और देन टू पार्टी 3 एंड सो ऑन, दैट इज़ नोन एज डिफेक्शन. आप अपनी पार्टी छोड़ के जिस पार्टी के टिकट पे आप इलेक्ट हुए हैं किसी और पार्टी में चले जाए, दैट इज़ डिफेक्शन. सो 1970s 80s में क्या हो रहा था, द फिनोमिना ऑफ डिफेक्शन बिकेम वेरी रैम्पेंट एंड वेरी क्रूल. सो उससे क्या हो रहा था कि पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी बहुत हो गई थी. एक पार्टी से दूसरी पार्टी में मेंबर्स वर जंपिंग. इट वॉज नोन एज आया राम गया राम सिंड्रोम एट दैट टाइम. This is a very important kind of phrase, you can always use it. ये किसी member के नाम पे रखा गया था जो इस फिनोमिना, डिफेक्शन के फिनोमिना को बड़ी अच्छी से रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे उस टाइम पे. दैट इज़ वाई दिस फ्रेज इमर्ज्ड, आया राम गया राम सिंड्रोम. वन डे ही वॉज इन पार्टी 1, द सेकेंड डे ही वॉज इन पार्टी 2, द थर्ड डे ही वॉज अगेन इन पार्टी 1. दैट इज़ वॉट वॉज हैपनिंग एंड इट ऑल्सो कैन बी कॉल्ड एज पार्टी हॉपिंग, जंपिंग फ्रॉम वन पार्टी टू अनदर पार्टी. So this, to prevent this party hopping and to prevent the political instability that this syndrome was creating, the Rajiv Gandhi then brought the 52nd Amendment Act. Okay, 52nd Amendment Act, in which they made the provision of defection law, anti-defection law. Okay, so अब there is some problem with this provision. The problem is that the final decision that whether a candidate has defected or not is taken by the speaker. As of now, your speaker decides that whether a person has defected or not under the anti-defection law. Speaker has the final say, and as we know that speaker belongs to the ruling party or the party in government, so there is high possibility that he or she gives a biased opinion. So that is why you see in this article also you can see, this is a very latest 2021 article of Indian Express where it's written कि Manipur Assembly में there were 7 legislators who got elected on the ticket of Congress party, but then they switched the party and joined with BJP and helped BJP form government in the Manipur. Okay, तो इससे क्या हो रहा है कि एक पार्टी से दूसरी पार्टी में they are jumping, creating problems for their original party and helping other party form a government. Okay, so ये केस 2017 से ये पिटीशन जो है जो कांग्रेस ने फाइल की स्पीकर के पास, मणिपुर के लेजिस्लेचर के स्पीकर के पास फाइल की, वो 2017 से पेंडिंग पड़ी है. आप देख लीजिए कि 4 साल हो चुके हैं. द स्पीकर डिड नॉट टेक एनी एक्शन ऑन दैट पिटीशन दैट वाज फाइल्ड बाय द कांग्रेस पार्टी अगेंस्ट दीज 7 लेजिस्लेटर्स. सो दिस इज सो अनफेयर दैट वी मेड अ प्रोविजन फॉर प्रिवेंटिंग डिफेक्शंस एंड द स्पीकर इज नॉट टेकिंग टाइमली डिसीजंस. So to prevent such kind of biases, the second ARC is recommending that the final decision should be taken by president or governor for center, for state. Okay, president or governor on the advice of election commission, because you know कि president and governor are also, I mean governor is appointed by the central government only. Okay, so they to reduce the possibility of biases of single person authority, they have introduced the provision that president or governor along with the election commission of India, okay, should decide finally on the defection cases. So this is a very important topic and recommendation, please make a note of it. Okay, finally this final recommendation is on disqualification. So now one person is elected, one candidate is elected to your legislature, state legislature or parliament. So they can be disqualified on various grounds. Some of the grounds are mentioned in your 102 article. These include these ones that are shown in the picture, like someone holding a office of profit will be disqualified from the membership of the legislature, or someone is of unsound mind, then also they can be disqualified. Someone is declared undischarged insolvent, financial issues, that means, then also serious financial issues, I mean, and also if someone is declared not a citizen of India, then also we can disqualify, because this is the basic condition on which you can get elected to a legislature. You will have to be a citizen of India. So these are some of the grounds that are made, that are provided in article 102. So what this recommendation says is that we have to make a appropriate law to clearly define more grounds of such disqualification. Okay, so the second ARC says that we need to make a dedicated law which specifies the various grounds of disqualifications for a member of the parliament or state legislature. एंड देखिए कि आर्टिकल 102 में हमें ये प्रोविज़न प्रोवाइड की भी जाती है. एक तो आर्टिकल 102 इट प्रोवाइड्स सम ग्राउंड्स ऑफ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. इट ऑल्सो इन सब क्लॉज ई सेज दैट पार्लियामेंट कैन मेक अ स्पेशल लॉ टू प्रोवाइड फॉर सच ग्राउंड्स ऑफ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशंस. तो सेकेंड ARC वही कहती है कि हमें 102E को यूज़ करके ऐसा एक लॉ बनाना चाहिए. टू सम एक्सटेंट दिस रिकमेंडेशन is being implemented under the RPA Act, which provides for some grounds of disqualification. This is again a very important act, as I have already told you. तो इसमें कुछ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन के ग्राउंड्स बताए गए हैं, जैसे रिलीजियस एनिमोसिटी क्रिएट करना, यूनिटी को हिंडर करना वगैरह वगैरह. ऐसे बहुत सारे डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन के ग्राउंड्स है. प्लीज़ डू दैट. ऑलरेडी अ क्वेश्चन इन द मेंस हैज़ बीन आस्क्ड कि मेंशन द ग्राउंड्स ऑफ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन अंडर द RPA एक्ट. तो क्लियरली आप कंप्लीटली कवर कीजिए. तो उसी तरीके से हम एक डेडिकेटेड लॉ भी, रिफाइंड लॉ भी बना सकते हैं. दैट इज़ वॉट दिस रिकमेंडेशन इज सजेस्टिंग. ओके, सो दिस इज अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, प्लीज़ मेक अ नोट ऑफ इट. नाउ अगर आपको यूज़ करना हो इन रिकमेंडेशंस को तो हाउ यू विल यूज़. सो आई एम गिविंग यू एन एग्जाम्पल. जैसे कि आपको क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है टू राइट अ नोट ऑन इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स इन इंडिया. ओके, कैसे कैसे इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स चाहिए, तो आप ये सारे पॉइंट्स मेंशन कर सकते हैं कि फंडिंग में वी शुड गेट पार्शियल फंडिंग एज द सेकंड ARC हैज़ रिकमेंडेड, एंड देन in the election commission of India we need reforms, making the appointment process of chief election commissioner more transparent. That is what you can recommend. हमें defection, anti defection law में changes लाने हैं. That is what you can recommend. So इस तरीके से जो भी हमने discussion, जो भी हमने आज recommendations recommend किया, आप ऐसे questions में लिख पाएंगे. See, already 2017 में एक question पूछा जा चुका है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने जो रिकमेंडेशंस दी हैं आप उस पर नोट लिखिए इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स के कंटेक्स्ट में. तो आपको ये भी पूछा जा सकता है कि सेकंड ARC की रिकमेंडेशंस लिखिए, या कुछ भी नहीं लिखा जा सकता है, प्लेनली इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स आपको लिखने के लिए वो दे कैन से. सो उसमें भी यू कैन यूज़ दीज रिकमेंडेशंस दैट वी हैव डिस्कस. ओके, सो again questions like this can also be asked. Discuss the provisions of the 52nd Amendment Act and also discuss the reforms required in the anti-defection law in India. So we have already discussed the 52nd Amendment. You can always introduce your answer saying that the 52nd Amendment Act was introduced in 1985 to check the phenomena of defections, which also came to be known as the Ayaram Gayaram syndrome. So वैसे वैसे आप you can start, then you will mention, that would become your intro. Then in the body part you will provide the provisions, because that is what has been asked here. Provisions बता दीजिए 52nd amendment में जो जो changes किए गए हैं, and उसके बाद आप reforms, एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ में क्या क्या रिफॉर्म्स चाहिए वो आप मेंशन कर सकते हैं. एक स्पीकर के रिगार्डिंग जो हमने ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे रिकमेंड किया है, दैट यू विल राइट देयर दैट दी not the speaker but the president or governor with election commission of India should be the final authority deciding on anti-defection. Okay, you can always you can write this point in the anti-defection law question, and bracket में second ARC भी लिखिए to make your point get more weight. Okay, that is how this entire recommendation thing you can use in your answers. So this is going to be very important for you. Keep listening to these discussions to refine your answers more. And that was all for this discussion. In next topic also, in next video also, I will discuss more recommendation of second ARC on other topics. So join me in those discussions also. If you have any doubt, then post in the comment section. I'll respond to your doubts. And thank you for watching.